and Lindsay on a special edition of Crossing the Aisle because there is some breaking news, as you would say.
Breaking news!
For the evening, that reports that came in after our radio show today that we wanted to talk about before we went out of town tomorrow. And so there was this.
If we still go.
If we still go, yeah, there's a tsunami headed for Hawaii. So
lovely.
They changed the travel plans. We'll see. I'm going to monitor that through the night. There was a article today where we just want to talk about just one article really, and it's got two big topics in it, which is the interesting part about it. It's there's an article in the Mississippi Today written by legendary reporter, who else? Jerry Mitchell, who keeps on coming with the reporting on a lot of stuff around here. I don't know where he gets the information, but he's really
he records people when they speak at prayer breakfasts.
Jerry is a godsend to content creators like me and Lindsay, because he's always dropping some really interesting thing. And I'm going to pull it up here real quick on the screen here. You can look at it. You can go to Mississippi Today to check it out too. Let's see here.
This is no endorsement for Mississippi Today, by the way.
Well, I'll endorse Jerry, though. I mean, Jerry.
Yeah, we can endorse Jerry, but there's definitely not an endorsement for Mississippi Today.
So the article is, did Rankin County Sheriff have a role in son-in-law's dismissed DUI charge?
Well, of course he did.
Yeah, I mean, and so that story has kind of been out there for a while. And what it's kind of discussing is Stephen Frederick, who I think now is Bailey's son-in-law. I don't know if he was at the time.
And did they get married?
I think that's correct. Yeah, they did. And so there was a lot of talk about did he help him out with his DUI? It's kind of been going around the community. There was a couple articles that kind of alluded to it, and this time it seems like that Jerry has run down a lot more facts, and we'll go into all of that.
God bless you, Jerry.
Yeah. Well, God. Also, I want to say, but as much as the Bailey stuff is interesting to me and Lindsay, I think the most interesting part of this article was not its focus really. So Stephen Frederick, who's a subject, who's Bailey's son-in-law, who got this DUI or didn't get the DUI actually. He
should have gotten the DUI.
He also, in other cases, the good guy. He's a co-defendant to Michael Rhinewalt he served as a Capitol Police Officer along with Rhinewalt.
Those officers who killed the young father, the innocent young father.
Right. That's right. Yeah, and so they were both indicted earlier this year in a manslaughter case by the Mississippi Attorney General's office. For shooting at Jaylen Lewis, who so the Attorney General's office is essentially saying that they didn't have a reasonable fear that Lewis was going to kill them. Jerry's got something in there that's gonna knock that back pretty good. Something we've been saying for months, and information we've got. I'm glad it's finally out in what you call the mainstream media, and it's been put out there, and it kind of puts a damper on the Attorney General and NBC, and I'll point that out shortly. But anyway, so let's start with the beginning of the article. The article is about Stephen Frederick, who's the son-in-law of Brian Bailey, who got a DUI. And I'm trying to think, when was if you go through here, he got the DUI in March of 2023.
Before he married Bailey's daughter, right?
I believe that's right. He wrecked his, I don't know, it was a Capitol Police truck, actually, the F-150.
Because that's who he worked for at the time.
He did. He worked for, and that's when he got indicted, the one that we'll discuss later. So he wrecked his F-150 on 49 just into Covington County. And when the trooper, I think, came out there, somebody must have called Brian Bailey, because I was reading that Bailey showed up to the scene. He appeared on the scene and asked if he could take Frederick with him, Lindsay. So the sheriff shows up to the scene of the DUI, the wrecked car, and asks if he, it's okay, if he could take Stephen Frederick with him. And
why would he do that?
Yeah,
let's break it down. Let's break this down part by part. Why on earth would the sheriff in Rankin County want to take this guy with him?
I think the answer is pretty obvious, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
no, absolutely. If you look on the video, Frederick is quoted as saying he only had 2 beers, but later can be heard telling a trooper that he had been drinking whiskey. He adds in there, "I just lost my effing career."
There he goes, the 2 drinks.
Everybody. Okay, this is just a little free legal advice. When you guys get pulled over for DUI, stop telling the cops you just had 2 drinks. Please, somebody say I had 10. They may let you off. I think it's funny.
Because that's always the answer they get. I've only had 2 drinks. That's it.
Every one of my cases, that's the answer. Apparently, anybody has 2 drinks when they go to the bar.
Is that just like what people think is acceptable to a cop? Is that 2 drinks is good?
But no one has learned this. Like nobody believes you when you said that. You've had more than 2 drinks. So please just say I wasn't. You're better off saying I wasn't drinking. Really, you're just better off. because everybody, the cops joke about this, like, oh, look, he had 2 drinks. So apparently, but this guy was a cop. Frederick was a cop, and he said he had 2 drinks. So maybe he didn't learn from that. And so fellow troopers say Clay Lofton, who was a trooper on the scene, told him that Bailey appeared and asked if you take Frederick with him. Lofton told Sheriff, no, he's coming with me. And if Bailey had taken him with him, it would have been hard to prove if Frederick was actually drunk. So because the way the law works is the scene, they'll give you a portable breathalyzer, but the portable breathalyzer is not admissible in court. What's admissible in court is the intoxilizer that you take at the station. So that would have prevented him from taking the intoxilizer, and that makes it harder to prove a DUI case against you.
I used to take the breathalyzer home with me.
Which breathalyzer? For what?
When I was working and I did breathalyzers for people, I would take it home with me so I could check. I could check myself.
Oh, I had one too. I think I just had one at one point in time.
I'm glad you said that, so I didn't look sick.
Oh, no. I've totally done that before. I mean, it's really kind of fun. So the PBT, portable breathalyzer, is not admissible in court, but the intoxilizer 8000 is, and that's what he was taking him to do. He eventually did use that machine. He blew a 0.12, so he was over the legal limit of 0.08. The interesting thing about it is the sheriff of Covington County releases Frederick to Bailey's custody without bond, which is not normal. By the way.
Should that not be illegal?
I mean, I don't think it's illegal, but it's definitely not customary. I wouldn't say it's illegal, but it's not customary. So the other parts that are interesting about this too. So Bailey goes on, according to this article, and he calls a prosecutor. We don't know who this prosecutor is, but he calls him and he asks this prosecutor if a trooper didn't show up for a DUI hearing, what would happen? And the prosecutor says, well, obviously we dismiss the case, because that's what happens whenever the cops, everybody, whenever you have a DUI case, everybody hopes the cop doesn't show up. That's a big thing. And sometimes it happens.
I've got the answer for Bailey.
What's that?
He can say the reason he didn't show up was because he was working on the chicken farm that day.
What, the trooper?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
I don't know. The trooper wasn't working for the sheriff's department. He's working for the Mississippi Highway Patrol.
I get it, but he employed people at the chicken farm, the prisoners anyway. So I mean, he could have said something.
I don't know if the trooper was going to be working at the chicken farm.
It's an alibi.
Right. Well,
I mean, these people are also corrupt. Why not?
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, well, Bailey calls this prosecutor, unnamed prosecutor, asks what would happen, which I thought was, I was talking to a few people today, including Jerry Mitchell, and about it. And what's interesting to me is that, Brian Bailey's been in law enforcement his whole life. So why would he have to ask a prosecutor why if somebody didn't show up to a hearing, what would happen?
Shouldn't he know that?
Yeah, everybody knows what happens.
Do you think he was maybe asking, in this case, if he doesn't show up, do you think it's going to come back on me because I know this person? Maybe that was more of the question.
I think it was kind of like he was asking this prosecutor, if you do me a favor, maybe call your prosecutor buddy. Not that that's ever happened between prosecutors. I'm not admitting anything. That could be a thing that happens. I don't know. I'm guessing that may be it. And then it sounds like he was rebuffed to that point.
Rebuffed.
Rebuffed, whatever you want to call it. Then he also called Porfirio Grimaldo. I'm sorry, Pancho, I'm saying your name wrong. I know who this is. And he sometimes he watches our streams. And he called him, and he was a supervisor of Stephen Frederick, and said that the DUI had been taken care of. Now, this is before the DUI had been resolved at all, had been to court. This is before that. So he calls Pancho and he says, hey, look, it's been resolved, so keep Frederick back on the Capitol Police Force. And then, so that's interesting. He's calling him and saying, he's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Well, the thing hadn't been resolved yet.
Right. So how could he know that it was going to be okay? Unless there were some backroom deals going down, some good old boy system.
Yeah, it sounds like it, because he's already telling Pancho hey, look, it's gonna be okay, so keep him on the force, even though the thing hasn't happened yet. It's not set. The court date has not come yet.
But Bailey has denied these allegations and has said that whoever says he talked to a prosecutor is a liar.
He has denied that. The sheriff has denied those allegations. So that part has not come out for about Mr. Grimaldo, Pancho, about it, that he had called him.
Pancho?
Yeah, that's what he calls him. Everybody calls him Pancho. As far as I know, if I'm getting that right, I believe that's right. And that's interesting that fact has not come out, that he called him and said, hey, everything's going to be okay. So why, don't worry about it. Keep him on the force. But this gets better too.
Well, Pancho has, when he's been contacted for comment, he has referred all questions to the department's lawyers.
Right. Yes, that's right. But here it's got the authorities have learned that after the wreck, Bailey reportedly telephoned Frederick's supervisor, Porfirio Grimaldo, Pancho, telling the supervisor that he should keep Frederick on the force because the DUI has been taken care of. So it's not a direct quote from Pancho, but it's something that I guess was been corroborated that he did. So it goes on further here where Clay Lofton, the trooper, said that he gets notice of the hearing. That's what happens. You notice your officers, subpoena them, whatever. And he had opened it in his email, but said he had never received it. So he doesn't show up at the hearing. So he doesn't show up at the hearing for Stephen Frederick's DUI in Covington County, and it gets dismissed. And he claims that he never received notice, even though you can see that he opened the email. So he did get notice. Then he was given a polygraph test, which he failed regarding these issues.
But those can't be taken into account.
They can't, no, those are not admissible in court. So after Lofton, took this polygraph test, the examiner concluded the trooper showed deception when he denied that anyone pressured him to ignore the subpoena to testify in court. So let me back up and explain it. So Lofton doesn't show up at court to Frederick's DUI hearing in Covington County. He claims it's because he didn't get notice. This is Trooper Lofton. Well, they proved that he did get notice,
and then he opened it.
Right. He opened the email. Then he takes a polygraph test, which he fails regarding these issues. So you can put 2 and 2 together on that.
Sean, you think the commissioner of Department of Public Safety, Sean Tindall, know about any of this?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Seems like he would have, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I think he would have.
I mean, I would think he would have taken a stand and said something, right?
Yeah, I mean, apparently, so he was, Lofton was disciplined for this. So he was given a 5-day suspension with no pay, which he did not appeal, according to records obtained by Mississippi Today. So he was disciplined for this action.
Interesting.
And so he was disciplined for that, and so I mean, he's put together, y'all. It's
the sheriff said that he could swear on a stack of Bibles. He did not ask anyone for help. I wonder if that's a stack of Trump Bibles.
Maybe it is.
Could be
blank pages.
Does that make it? Does that make it better if it's a Trump Bible?
I guess it could, but that's what he says. I mean, it just seems like it's kind of what I used to say in closing argument when I was a prosecutor, like the unluckiest man in the world. That was my closing argument.
Yeah.
Like Sheriff Bailey has all these things. Like, I didn't know about the goon squad. I didn't know what they're doing. I got the chicken farms. That's I don't know about that too much. And then like I don't remember subpoenaing Fred Shanks' wife stuff and Fred Shanks and all. I mean, there's all this stuff like that comes together. Now you
it's
get
one thing after another.
Yeah, it's one thing after another.
Where there is smoke, there is fire. I mean, when are people going to realize that?
I know there's no other way to look at this. And I mean, here, and just to give you the rundown. I mean, so he shows up. Stephen Frederick, his son-in-law, gets a DUI in Covington County. It's a DUI wreck. The sheriff shows up to the scene, tries to take him. The trooper will not let him. Then
and good for that trooper.
Yeah, well, at that point.
But I guess things happened after that.
Things happen after that. What events we don't know, which I have a feeling they're going to be found out. So then the case is set. Before the case goes to trial or the hearing, the sheriff reportedly, according to Mississippi Today, calls Pancho Porfirio Grimaldo, who was the supervisor of. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name too, but people butcher my name, Pancho. The supervisor of Capitol Police, and who supervised Stephen Frederick, then says, hey, don't worry, keep him on the force because everything's going to be taken care of. This is what Sheriff Bailey tells Pancho. Okay, then
we got this. It's handled.
There's the DUI hearing date. The trooper, Mr. Lofton, doesn't show up. He claims he wasn't noticed. Well, they check his records. He got an email with a notice. It was opened. Until he opened it, so obviously that was a lie. Then he was given a lie detector test, polygraph, which he fails, which the examiner said he showed signs of deception. And then he was suspended for 5 days without pay based upon that. So you can put all that together and figure out, what is going on, Lindsay. There, I mean, I think
sounds like a lot of shady business.
This actually, looking at this
corrupted government.
Well, looking at this from a legal perspective, I think this could be very dangerous for Sheriff Bailey because it's what I was talking to somebody today about it. This is the same charge they charged my old boss, the District Attorney of Hinds County, Robert Smith, with hindering prosecution. And there could be a possible hindering or obstruction of justice charge. One of those.
There could be, but has anybody got the balls to do it?
Well, I would think, the Attorney General in Robert's case indicted him. So I think the Attorney General would have to do it, or the DA of Covington County, which I think is Chris Ennis. So you would have those two options.
I don't know Chris Ennis, but what I do know is that Brian Bailey has been time after time after time in the midst of scandal.
Yeah, I agree.
And I hate to harp on the goon squad, but come on, people. If you believe that this man, the sheriff, did not know that there was a group who were involved in these heinous acts. You got to be kidding yourself. He knew. He knew. There's no way he didn't know. This is not a good man.
Oh, and then I forgot about when Jerry was at the breakfast and Steve Gaines. I forgot about that thing. There's all this stuff. It's just.
I mean, I told you. I mean, they should put that statue in Steve Gaines' front yard.
I think Jerry's getting another Pulitzer at the end of this. I have a feeling his reporting's been
on the Goon Squad or on
all of it.
All of it.
All of it. Just the Rankin County corruption. I think that's what he's going to do.
There's definitely some corruption, but I mean, I think government's corrupt all together.
So I mean, that's that's the issue here. Now, what I was saying before, though, I think if they can connect more dots, which a lot of dots aren't getting connected here, Lindsay, you could have a prosecution for hindering prosecution or obstruction of justice in this case for Sheriff Bailey. Like there's a specific statute that's called hindering prosecution of a misdemeanor. There's two of them. There's one for a felony and one for a misdemeanor. So it could fall under the misdemeanor one here because Sheriff Bailey attempted to hinder the prosecution of that by, if he did tell the trooper not to show up. Now, there's a lot of inferences. There's not direct evidence yet.
Well, I mean, okay, but say he didn't tell the trooper not to show up, but he just kind of insinuated that he didn't want him to show up. Whose truck is that we have?
That's Stephen Frederick said he wrecked the night of DUI. Like it's a Capitol Police vehicle, actually.
That's a Capitol Police vehicle?
Yeah, he wrecked. That's the night of the DUI that Bailey allegedly helped him with.
So how much money from taxpayers was taken how much was spent on a truck that was totaled?
Jerry does not have that in the article, but I'm sure he'll find out, Lindsay, because I'll tell him you asked and he'll.
Oh, Jerry, I want to know the amount that has been taken from taxpayers and has been stolen basically because of this corruptness.
Yeah. So I mean, it's so he was drinking and he wrecked the state issue Capitol Police truck. You can see it right here on the screen. They're working, it seems to me, to connect the dots with Sheriff Bailey. Obviously, again, Sheriff Bailey showed up the scene, tried to take Stephen Frederick.
But he had a dip in his mouth.
Hey, I can't handle that.
I can.
But try to take him with him, and then called his supervisor later and said, "Hey, look, everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. Keep him on the force, the Capitol Police Force." And he called.
And don't show up to the hearing.
He called a random prosecutor who's unnamed and asked if somebody didn't show up, what would happen. Seems like a question he would know the answer to. So that kind of bamboozles.
Again, I don't think that he was asking that to get the answer.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm with you on this.
I think it was,
which is rare, and I agree with you. But I agree with you here. You're right. I think it was definitely like a setup.
It was an insinuation. Hey, don't show up.
Well, I think he was trying to tell the prosecutor, like, hey, why don't you help me out with this? That's kind of the impression I get from it. So he told that.
All about who you know, huh?
Told that prosecutor, yeah. And then Lofton, the trooper, doesn't show up, says he didn't get the email, but he opened it, and he fails a lie detector test. So there's a lot of moving parts here. And, I mean, I wonder where that Lofton guy's lawyered up, because, I mean, he seems to be the missing link to it. If he sits there and just confesses, they give him immunity or something. That could happen. I mean, somebody could give Lofton immunity and say, hey, look,
they should.
I mean, somebody could. The Attorney General is a person who we're going to talk about in a moment, could do that. The Attorney General's office, because they did do that in the Robert Smith case that I was a part of back in 2016 when they prosecuted him for the same crime. Actually, he was assisting a dope dealer, Christopher Butler.
The mattress dope dealer?
The mattress fraud dope dealer in case that is just, has stuck with it's been a part of my life forever. But Jim Hood did indict Robert Smith, the DA, for that. And they prosecuted unsuccessfully, unfortunately, but he did go the distance with it. So Lynn Finch could do that here if she wanted to. It looks like she's got a lot of evidence to go that direction. Certainly a lot more evidence she had against the Capitol Police officers, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But
he was one of the Capitol Police.
He was, ironically. This is all in one article. So if we go down here, we've got the next case, which is the manslaughter case against, and I've highlighted some of that for y'all. So Lindsay and I have talked, kind of been I would say this is probably our biggest mission, or our passion topic, right? What do you say?
Oh, I mean,
obviously
I have lots of passions, but this has definitely been.
Well, the one that you and I share, because, I'm not into those other ones, but you and I are both teamed up on, I would say, right?
Yes.
As equally as interested in.
But again, I also want to go back to the fact, when all this is going on, and this is a sheriff, right? But what role would the commissioner of public safety play in this? When could he come in and put a stop to it?
Well, he wouldn't have any. He has no authority over the sheriff, obviously. Now,
but would he not have knowledge of this? Because I would think that he would.
I would assume that he had knowledge once the lie detector test was failed.
So shouldn't he make a statement? Shouldn't he come forward and say, "Hey, this isn't right. Like, I'm not going to stand for this."
I guess you could say,
Do the right thing, maybe for once.
well, I don't know. I mean, I think they did discipline the guy. So I mean, it wasn't like it was swept under the rug. I mean, they disciplined the trooper.
Barely.
I don't know what other actions. Yeah, I guess they couldn't prove that. I mean, except for the fact that he said he didn't receive it, even though it shows he opened it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he was disciplined, so I don't know. I mean, I guess you could have fired him. That's the only thing you could have done.
Well, I mean, I think the whole department should make a statement, take accountability for some of it. If you're just going to go, just like pretend it didn't happen.
Well, I think yes and no. I mean, the reason I would say, like, you don't 100% know that. Okay, what if his email just got opened by someone else? He hasn't confessed. So I mean, he's still.
Oh, come on.
I mean, and lie detectors, again, you said it yourself, they're not admissible in court. So
Which they probably should be.
Well, I mean, they're not though. So like, you don't really have a whole lot of evidence on him, except the fact that like he lied about saying that he didn't receive it when it was open. Now again, he could say, well, somebody else opened my email. Who knows what his excuse is? It's just kind of thin on him in my mind to do more than they already did. I mean, I guess they could have gone and fired him. I mean, they couldn't have prosecuted him though, because he could be charged with hindering prosecution also, if you look at it that way. So I mean, I think they did what they could do based on the facts, in my opinion.
I mean, I just feel like don't law enforcement officers, other than an email, they know when they're supposed to be in court.
Yeah, I mean, well, they get notices. Like I think in justice and municipal court, the way it's different than when I worked as a prosecutor in circuit court, so we'd actually like serve the witnesses with physical subpoenas.
Mm-hmm.
I had an investigator, and he'd go out and do that. But most of the time, when you're working, you're right too. When you're working with the cops, because the prosecutor and the cops, they're all tight for most of the time, unless you're Lynn Finch in that office with the Capitol Police. They're probably not that tight. Like you can call. I used to call my detectives all the time, like, bro, look, I mean, I forgot to subpoena you. Can you get over here right now? Like you can do that,
Mm-hmm.
like when you're close with them. And I mean, Eric Smith, who unfortunately was killed in line of duty, was a really good friend of mine, and he wasn't always on every case, but he kind of oversaw most cases. And there was times when like some witness we had, law enforcement was not doing well. I'd call Eric and say, hey, look, man, can you look at the file and come over here and testify real quick? Like it'd be like that. So like, yes, to answer your question, that does happen where you can do that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never worked in a justice municipal setting as a prosecutor, but I've had, several friends that have, and I think it is pretty easy. I think they just email them. I think that's right. Like, I think this guy's.
I just feel like, I mean, there's just no way you're not getting an email on your work email and that you don't know to show up in court. You know to show up. Come on, to show up in court. I mean,
we weren't born yesterday. We know what happened here. You just got to prove things up before, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. The guy got it. He opened it, and someone told him, whoever that person was.
Sean Tindall, get your department under control over there. Maybe you should do something other than what you do.
We're assuming Sheriff Bailey did it based on just all these inferences, but we don't know that for 100%. So
and I think we all know that.
Well, it's
allegedly.
I
guess. You gotta say allegedly, but we all know.
Rankin County, so allegedly, just all the inferences point to him. I don't know if he did it. You guys can make your own judgment on that one. But we are going to move on to the manslaughter case that involves again Stephen Frederick, who was the subject of this DUI.
I wish it had been another one other than him.
To make it nicer.
Yeah, because I mean, it just makes it more difficult. But obviously, the other officer involved in this, Michael Rhinewalt, I think is completely innocent. I almost wonder if
I think Frederick's innocent too in this case. I think they're both
Well,
innocent.
innocent in this case, but I think he's completely guilty in the other.
In the DUI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think.
And then having his father-in-law get him out of the trouble and making people not show up to court so that it gets dismissed, and then getting another job in another county, and all the things.
Well, he wrecked his car and blew a .12. I'm going to go with he's guilty of the DUI.
Absolutely.
He just got out of it, right? I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. Or would have been guilty had the trooper shown up.
But he was able to go and get another job where Michael Rhinewalt was not, because Michael Rhinewalt didn't have Sheriff Brian Bailey backing him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you're right about that.
I am right.
I mean, I think that's true.
Always am.
So anyway, let's just recap this next case, which is in the same article. You guys, it's right here. I got it pulled up. The two officers, Stephen Frederick, again, that was the subject of the DUI, and Michael Rhinewalt they pleaded not guilty to a indicted charge of manslaughter. So they got indicted for manslaughter by the Mississippi Attorney, not the Hinds County DA, the Republican Mississippi Attorney General, back the blue Republicans. they indicted them for manslaughter in this case against a 25-year-old Jaylen Lewis. Okay,
That young innocent father.
And I'm going to go switch to you guys so we can kind of go through how NBC's, excuse me, freaking full of shit, right? This is going to really show you
the mainstream media for you,
and how Jerry Mitchell, really came through here with this article. And actually,
we've been saying this.
Yeah, did some real reporting work here where NBC did not do that at all. They really are shameful what they did.
We have been bringing you guys the facts on this case for what, 6 months, Sean?
Yeah, close to it, right? Yeah.
I mean, the actual facts, what really went down. We've been telling you guys about it for months.
Yeah,
I mean, detail by detail.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm sorry, I have a little technical problem here trying to get this up. But yeah, this you'll see NBC's right here. Okay, we've got it here for you. This is NBC's article here. Mississippi officers charged in young father's shooting death.
Oh, poor young father.
Yeah, young father's shooting death here. So this is what we're talking about with the manslaughter case against Stephen Frederick and Michael Rhinewalt. So they style this as Jaylen Lewis, 25, was killed in the 2022 during the Mississippi Capitol Police's aggressive anti-crime units efforts in Jackson.
Aggressive.
Yeah, so that's what they say. So that is what, when you read that, Lindsay, that's the impression you get. Young father was just shot down in the streets.
Yeah, because he was black, probably, right? It's Mississippi.
Or whatever he is, he's just the innocent young father, and these guys. But you're right. I think that's probably the implication.
That's what they mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. They're trying to make it race, and it sells.
It sells
clicks.
Hashtag race.
So I think that's what they're doing here, and this is and y'all see this is the most ridiculous article that I've not ever seen, but it's just pretty bad.
I mean, it's like Jackson, Mississippi is the capital city of Mississippi, so let's make those police officers there that are Capitol Police look like they're the KKK.
And that's what they're doing here. I mean, that's it's just
it's absurd.
In this article, so like they go on. If you look at the headline, 2 Mississippi Capitol Police officers have been charged with manslaughter in the fatal shooting of a young father during a 2022 traffic stop, part of a string of shootings by officers in an aggressive push to stand up.
Sean, does that talk about the previous record of that young father?
No, of course not. Of course not. So a grand jury in Hinds County indicted the officers Michael Rhinewalt and Stephen Frederick last month. Rhinewalt is on unpaid administrative. He's no longer there now. And
right.
Frederick resigned from the Capitol Police after a drunk driving arrest, which we just discussed. This is NBC's article. Rhinewalt was arrested last week and released a $100,000 bond. Okay, that's where that goes. And so it says here, I'm going to go on. The Capitol Police are a state-run force that has been largely responsible for security of state government buildings until they were deployed to stop spiking crime, as we all know, as residents here. This is a national NBC article. They don't know shit about Jackson. So they are.
And thank you, Nick Bain, by the way, for expanding the CCI.
Yeah,
the work you did to do that, because that has definitely helped, even though some people don't want to acknowledge it.
So they go on to discuss this situation and making that, it says here, a death certificate later confirmed that Lewis, the father of a 4-year-old girl and a 2-year-old boy, I guess fathers
God
can't do
bless
anything
him.
bad, right? Has been shot in the head. Rhinewalt and Frederick said that they fired on Lewis in self-defense, but the grand jury concluded it was not a reasonable belief under the circumstances. So, they're trying to make it right there, saying like, look, the grand jury, that's bullshit, right? Because I've been in 100 grand juries over, like, that's how it happens there. What happens is you call a police investigator and say, what are the facts of the case? They read an incident report, and then you tell the grand jury you want somebody indicted. That's what happens. It's not.
And then they do it.
99% of
the time, then they do whatever they're asked to do.
I would say 90 to 95%, but yes, I mean they'll generally do what you want. If you can, the saying "you can indict a ham sandwich" is absolutely true. You can indict.
If Marsha Stacy is listening right now, Marsha, you can indict a ham sandwich.
I mean, that is true. You can indict a ham sandwich. It's not a big deal. I can go indict Lindsay right now if I'm still an assistant DA for something. It is not hard. Somebody goes into the grand jury, an investigator, and reads a report. That's it. You don't introduce any evidence. I mean, you can. You don't do anything like that. It's a setup if you want somebody indicted, like in this situation. So just for inside baseball, that's what happens. That's just what happens. So like this whole NBC's making it seem like the grand jury just sat there and reviewed a bunch of documents and evidence. It's not a trial. It's not a trial. Like literally somebody sits in a chair, you ask them a few questions, then you tell the grand jury, okay, you guys go vote on it. We want you to indict this guy.
Who do they ask the questions to? Who gets the questions?
Like, let's say I'm the prosecutor and I have my witness as an investigator that worked on the case, right?
Mhm.
And I called him to sit in the chair before the grand jury. I asked him a few questions about his incident report, right?
Mhm.
And then I tell the grand jury the facts that I want out there, by the way, not the bad facts for me, but
Right.
the facts that I want, and I tell him to read those. And I said, so like, obviously, Michael Rhinewalt and Stephen Frederick, they shouldn't have shot these guys, right? According to, the witness statements you took. Yeah, there was some talk that, whatever you're going to say, and then the grand jury hears it like, okay, well, yeah, I guess they're saying that he did it.
Okay, back up for 1 second. As me and as you, so what if this is in Aaron Spencer's case, and this is the grand jury for him? Who do they get up there to
Well,
say,
we should
let's
explain
indict?
to people what that is.
Yeah, so
Yes,
so Aaron Spencer is this dad in Arkansas who has been indicted now and will go to trial in September for second-degree murder when his daughter was taken by a man who had already been arrested for sexually abusing his daughter and had a no contact order. It was out on bail, and his daughter, a 13-year-old at the time, disappeared, and he went to look for her, found her in the guy's vehicle on the side of in the vehicle somewhere. A wreck, something happened. I guess he maybe ran them off the road, and then he proceeded to kill the man. I mean, I think he should have tortured him before he killed him, in my opinion. Cut his penis off, all the things, but he didn't. I mean, but he did kill him, and now he has been indicted and will stand trial for second-degree murder. So, what would that grand jury have been told in order for them to indict this man?
It's easy. So if you were the investigator, right, then I was asking you a question. What I would say there is, so did Mr. Spencer encountered the guy's name is Michael Fossler, the dead guy that's the child predator, right? So anyway, encountered Mr. Fossler with his daughter? Yes. Did he secure his daughter? Yes. Did he put his daughter back in his truck? Yeah. You asked me, I'm going to answer the question.
Yeah.
Then did he put the daughter back in the truck? Yes. After that, what did he get back in his truck? Yes, he got back in his truck according to the reports we have. Okay. What did he do after that? Well, he got out of his truck. He walked up to Fossler, shot him in the head, and beat him with the pistol. That's how you get.
Didn't beat him hard enough, in my opinion.
But that's how it got indicted. I'm
So
just telling you, that's how it got indicted.
with the grand jury, do they all have to agree, like a jury?
No, it's like 12. It's gonna have 15 in there, but it's just like a jury, like 12, right? Yeah, 12 of them have to agree.
12 have to say we want to indict.
That's right. I can't remember something like that. It's gonna have 15 for what's called a quorum in Mississippi.
That's who sits on the grand. 15 are on the grand jury, and then you need 12.
You need at least, you can have more than that, but you need more. You need 15 at least.
Is it not a certain percentage, or?
I think it's 12. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is right now. I have to look it up, but it's like, I know you have to have 15 people in there at least. You can't just have like 12 like you do on a jury. Like you have to have 15 people for a quorum.
And there has to be so many that.
Yeah, I think it's 12. I'd have to look it up because I can't remember what the number is you got to hit. But
why is it that people who sit on the grand jury are automatically so prone to go along with whatever the prosecutor's wanting them to do?
Well, because I mean, it's easy, Lindsay. Like what you do is you got people. First of all, grand jurors are generally better than regular jurors, because like
really.
Well, yeah, I mean, because they're not necessarily the way they question, but they're willing to. Sometimes they sit longer than a regular jury because they'll have like a few days of grand jury, but they may be there for a whole term. It depends on what county you're in, and they got to do. There's things in the statute they got to do.
What's a term?
Like a term of court. Courts have terms. Courts terms are usually 6 weeks long. So they may be there for that's this grand jury. So they would call a grand jury in. Like in Hinds County, different counties they do things
every quarter, right?
No, not necessarily. It just it depends on where you are. And,
gotcha.
Like in Hinds County, I can give you the Hinds County example.
Okay, yeah.
Like in Hinds County, we almost had grand jury back in those days. It was every month, right? But you'd have in other counties.
Was that because there's so many cases?
Right. Like in other counties, you might only have it 3 times a year or 4 times a year. Hinds County, you have every month, pretty much.
Okay.
And the way we do it is we'd have one grand jury for 4 months, the same people, and they'd come back every month. Like we do it like that. So you have to say these people have to be willing to come back and listen to cases for 2 or 3 days.
But they're also not hearing from the defense, right? They're only hearing what the prosecutor wants them to hear.
There's no defense lawyer, no defendant in there. There's just a prosecutor,
do they
grand jurors, and his best investigator.
Do they give instructions, like jury instructions, but to the?
It's not the same. No,
it's not the same.
It's not like you've seen in a trial. No, it's not.
I'm sorry. I'm asking questions as someone who does not know about this process.
No, I mean it's that's fine because
I think it's something people need to know.
Most people don't know about the process because they think oh my God, somebody got indicted, so they must have did it. That's
something I've never even talked to you about that the specifics of that process.
Yeah, I mean exactly. No, it's just it doesn't mean that just because you got indicted doesn't mean shit. I mean, generally it's bad. I mean, I'm not trying to say that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, that it's that like you're 100% guilty because you can never want to.
Yeah, and Sean, I know you know
Yeah,
this.
it's 12. I was right. It's 12
It's
jurors.
12.
I had to look it up. Double check.
It has to be 12.
Yeah, you have at least 15 members present. It consists of 20. Like that's the max you can have.
But 15
But
have to be
yeah,
there,
that's the quorum
and
number.
12 have to want to indict.
That's right. Yeah, which is called a true
Yeah.
bill once they do that.
Okay.
And you know, and it's like it's such a, I know on TV and stuff, and when we see like President Trump got indicted or Diddy gets indicted, like we think it's such a big deal.
Or somebody's impeached. I mean, it's just not the way it.
Well, I mean, yeah, the indictment process is just, the grand jury's not sitting there unless it's like maybe there's some big federal cases where it's different. But I'm talking about the state court level because that's where my experience lies. State court level, like they're in this room, this little room, the Hinds County Courthouse. They sit in there.
So it's probably leaking.
And you bring in investigator for, one investigator to have 10 cases, like a stack of files. And they'll be like, this is Willie McMotherfucker's case. And they're like, sit there and they're like, okay, Willie
Lee May. Willie Lee May.
Yeah, Willie McMotherfucker broke into.
No, you gotta have the 3 names.
Well, I'm just saying, he's like, this is the auto burglar. He broke into a car and we caught him and then he confessed. So like he'll say like 3 sentences. And then, okay, grand jurors, you heard that? Yes. So we caught Willie McMotherfucker and he confessed. Okay, cool. Well, guess what? We're gonna walk out of the room and let you all vote on Willie McMotherfucker's case. So,
Stop!
But I mean, what?
Stop saying that!
I'm just giving you that's the example. Like,
But that's not the name we're gonna use for anybody.
Okay. Willie B. Mick, or whatever you want to call him. And he, so you do that, you walk out of the room, they vote, you go back in, they knock on the door, they indicted the guy. And then, I mean,
is this knock on the door thing like a normal thing for juries?
Yeah.
They knock on the door.
They knock on the door. So like, but then, or sometimes you do them in stacks. You do like 10 cases of one investigator and you go through them all. You're like, okay, you guys heard all 10 of those. All right, now
they vote on all of them at once?
Well, I mean, they'll
like an omnibus bill?
No, they don't vote all of them at once. They'll hear all 10 in a row, right? Mm-hmm. And then you'll leave the room and they'll vote on each one individually. But they've heard 10 in a row without a break, and then they voted all 10. Like that happens all. And we do that because you got to save time because it's a time-consuming process.
You know what else is consuming is the money of taxpayers when they go after these people who shouldn't be going after.
And I'm sorry, that was a long lesson in grand jury, but I guess it's important because people like, the way NBC writes this article, it's like this, really like the grand jury concluded, like, please blow it out your ass. Like that's not what that really is. So, anyway, this happens. The Attorney General, as we've been through, then has Rhinewalt and Frederick in front of, I think, Judge Kidd. This case is in front of. They on another case that Rhinewalt's indicted with Jeffrey Walker, the Attorney General represented them in a civil case on that.
Same case.
Adrian Wooten removed them in a scathing order that everybody should read. Take them off.
We have discussed this in detail on our show, and maybe we can link some of those in the comments.
Yeah, that's we talked about that. So so with this case, it was not the same thing. So they're still prosecuting this one, as far as I know. So you got this case where they indicted him for shooting, these 2 guys for shooting Jaylen Lewis, the young
father.
Yeah, they're saying that Michael Rhinewalt and Stephen Frederick were not in reasonable belief that their lives were in danger, is what they're trying to tell you, which is complete bogus bullshit.
Even though they found how many weapons in the vehicle?
Yeah, that's what I get to. So what they don't tell you in NBC's article is they don't talk about Jaylen Lewis had, like, I think one was an AK-47, 3 other guns, and pounds of dope. They don't tell you about his prior conviction. He actually got pled down, I think, to a misdemeanor, but it was like trafficking charge. And I looked it up in MEC, like for trafficking marijuana. They don't tell you about that. Another thing they don't tell you about, but Jerry Mitchell didn't tell you about today, was the fact that there was a witness in the car for Jaylen Lewis, this female. She talked to what's called MBI, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, afterwards, gave a recorded statement in which she's backed up the officer's version of events. And that version is that Jaylen Lewis backed into another Capitol Police car, then drove forward.
And then pulled a gun.
Yeah, had a gun in his hand, tried to run over Michael Rhinewalt and Stephen Frederick. They returned fire. I think Rhinewalt shot the fatal shot on him. As far as I know, I could be wrong about that. But so that's the actual story, that the girl in the car corroborated and said, yes, that's exactly what happened. So she backs up the cops. Well, apparently Lynn Finch didn't read that. Like, just didn't read that. And NBC,
Finch, not Finch,
whatever, didn't read that. And NBC didn't want to ever report on that. But you know who did report on that, Lindsay?
Jerry Mitchell.
Jerry Mitchell reported on that today. The first time we knew this story, but this is the first time this has seen the light of day, as far as I can tell, from any media organization besides us. I don't know, we consider us media, but we're just kind of.
I mean, we're way more truthful than the mainstream media. That's for damn sure.
Independent media, right? So like we
we have comments. You put a comment.
Well, yeah. Let me get the screen back on
Okay.
for this one. So we've discussed this. We knew the facts behind it, but the mainstream media has not. Now, Jerry Mitchell, who I respect a great deal, who really does a good job and works, he reported it today. And what he said here, I'm going to read it to you quickly. Well, not quickly, slowly, but I'm going to find it quickly. That's what I'm at. About that portion here. There's a So here it is. I'm going to highlight that right there too. So the officers reportedly told investigators that Rhinewalt shot Lewis in self-defense after Lewis drove his car towards them. Lewis, again, is the drug dealer with all the guns that got killed.
So had a past as well.
Yeah,
numerous like arrests and convictions or whatever.
Got a past. So just remember the young father who's
really not so innocent. Not so innocent.
Yeah, that's what we got here. But that NBC's not telling you about. And they also didn't tell you this. A witness statement appears to back up their version of events. Okay, again, I'm going to read that again. A witness statement appears to back up their version of events. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
there you go.
And that witness, y'all, is the girl in the car that's with Lewis. That's with, like, I don't know if she's girlfriend or friend or what she is, but she's in the car with him while he's driving over trying to kill the freaking cops. And while he's got the gun in his hand, and she immediately tells them, no, the cops are right. He was trying to run over them. So they shot his ass. Of course they did. What else do you do? Of course you're going to shoot him.
Why wouldn't you? That's what you're taught to do. You're taught to protect yourself first and then protect the lives of other people in the area.
Yeah. So exactly. So what the Attorney General's office does, your Republican Attorney General, that is supposed to be super conservative, back to blue, indicts these two guys for manslaughter. This is fucking ridiculous. I cannot say this already, but I want to say it here. Fucking ridiculous. Like these guys got indicted for manslaughter, 20-year maximum sentence on that, for somebody, a drug dealer, trying to run over them. That was corroborated by the girl that was in the fucking car with them. This is what this doesn't make you outraged as I am. Like, I don't know what does.
I mean, there are a lot of things that make me outraged.
Well, like, these are people that are out there putting their lives on the line.
Absolutely.
And in this city, that's a big deal because it's dangerous as hell. And you are trying to the AG and the NBC are trying to make a freaking headline. And what you do is you put these guys.
They didn't write the NBC article. No, that's mainstream media there.
Well, they're tacking off. You know what? They're tacking off what the Attorney General did. I don't agree with what they did, what NBC did. But they're like, well, hell, the Republican Attorney General. That's the way they look at it. It's like a liberal. I'm a liberal, but I'm saying like it's a liberal's dream. They're like the Republican Attorney General is indicting cops for shooting a black guy.
You're not a liberal. You just think you are.
They're just so. Yeah, NBC did is just disgusting. That's
absolutely is. But I have a thought. Go ahead. Go ahead and finish what you're saying. But I have a thought.
But screw the media. They're going to do. They're like in the business of click.
But still, no. You can't. No, it cannot be forgiven, Sean. It's gone too far.
They're in almost entertainment. What I can't forgive is trained professionals that look at evidence.
Like Sean Tyndall.
This has nothing to do with Sean Tyndall. This has got to do with the Attorney General's office.
Well, I'm just saying he does the same thing.
But this is the Attorney General's office. The trained prosecutors are looking at statements that that say definitively that they were defending themselves by the way, somebody that should have been a biased party, the girl in the car, in the car with the drug dealer who was trying to run him over. So she even says, no.
Who did she say that to?
MBI, Mystery Bureau Investigations. So, like, she even says, yeah, my boyfriend or friend, whatever, was trying to run the cops over, so they shot
By the way, they were just going for a relaxing drive, yet his license was suspended. That was the other case, sorry. I get them confused.
Yeah, that's Agasol.
They came so close together.
Yeah, they did. No, it's confusing. I agree. But now that's the other case.
But I do have a thought here.
Yeah.
Do you think, and this is the first time I've kind of put this together in my mind, thinking maybe this is a possibility, could Lynn Fitch's office have had something against Brian Bailey?
No, because they indicted Rhinewalt Jeffrey Walker were on another case. I don't know what that has to do with Bailey.
Yeah, but which case got indicted first? I wonder.
I think they're about the same time. As far as I know, I can look that up, but I think they're about the same time.
Because I wonder if like she had some sort of. I want to get to Brian Bailey because I know he's over there and he's corrupt and all this has happened, and then because this one case was done this way, and then one of the officers was in common with another case. I'm just wondering. I'm just playing.
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean,
and by the way, Michael Rhinewalt was cleared in by Internal Affairs and MBI.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. Right, MBI cleared them both. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, and I want to say this for whatever you think about Stephen.
And they were released back to work. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For whatever you think about Stephen Frederick, for what happened with DUI and Bailey, which by the way, everybody who's going to lie and say they haven't gone out and drank and done stupid shit is a liar. Most of it.
I think a lot of people.
So like, I'm not even holding judgment on Stephen Frederick at all. Like I'm like for drinking and like that happens. It was a mistake. I mean, I got some grace for the guy for sure. So like, but I'll tell you one thing. Like, that doesn't do with this. He didn't do anything here. I mean,
but his job. He did his job. He did his job. And this is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, if he got convicted of DUI, the max penalty on that is $1,000 fine and 48 hours in jail. Okay, I mean,
but he would lose his job.
Yeah, he would lose his job, right? Exactly, which he eventually did lose. So,
but he was just transferred. He didn't lose it. He was transferred, and then just recently he was suspended from what? Smith County? What county is it?
I think it was Scott County.
Scott. I knew it was an S one.
Yeah, but I mean, he was working for Capitol Police though at the point.
Right, but so he didn't lose his job, and he lost his job there, and he got to go somewhere else.
Yeah, right. I mean, so,
Michael Rhinewalt has not gotten to do that.
No, right? Yeah, no.
That has not been the case.
Rhinewalt has got screwed.
He took the brunt of it all.
Yeah, he's taken a lot, especially since he's indicted in both cases, which is
right.
And I'm not going to get into the other one. That one's bullshit.
But it's bullshit too.
Yeah, it's bullshit too. But like just this one, because we're talking about Jerry's article today. So yeah, I mean, but so whatever you think about Stephen Frederick, I mean, he's not guilty here, and I don't know. He may have been a great officer. I mean, everybody goes out and drinks and messes up. I mean, I've done it plenty of times. I don't hold any judgment on people for that. So I'm not going to judge him.
In fact, if you do, call the York Run Law Firm.
Yeah, right.
We can defend you.
I would be lying if saying I have not gotten in my car drunk and done stupid shit. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, don't do that. It happens. And I get it. And like, I'm not going to. It doesn't mean make him a bad cop. It just went out drinking and whatever. The issue with that case is like, how did he get out of it? And was that illegal and that kind of thing.
But this is why people don't have faith in our justice system.
Yeah, I mean, no, I understand that too, because people don't like the good old boy system. I don't like it either. I mean, it's not great, but I understand that point. But as to him drinking and driving, I mean, I'm like, okay, whatever. That's kind of where I look at that on for him. But here, like this case, this manslaughter case against Rhinewalt and Frederick has been a hit job by the mainstream media and the Attorney General's office, who essentially has like destroyed two people's lives and is making them face 20 years apiece in jail for defending themselves in the line of duty. And when there was a witness that was with the drug dealer that said they're not guilty, that they were defending themselves, and the Attorney General indicted them. Now, I don't, it's one of the most shocking things that I've ever seen in my 20-year career, to be honest with you, that, and it's I don't know, it's disgusting. I can't, if I was sitting in that room, I would probably be yelling and throwing things at the prosecutors. When I was working in Hines County for so long, whenever somebody would say something stupid like this, because we had a lot of really good prosecutors up there, we'd throw things at them. We're not doing some stupid shit like this. So somebody they use office needs to throw things at each other, because this is.
Or maybe we just need a different different district attorney in the state of Mississippi, AG. A good one. AG. Sorry, a good AG. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think
I like a lot of the things Linkage has done.
But she doesn't do anything in terms of like the prosecutorial function, and that's the role of the Attorney General, and that's my problem. And you can see that here.
Well, maybe we need a good one that will do those things.
Yeah.
But again, let's. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a next go around. We like our friend Nick Bain. So
absolutely, let's draft Nick Bain for Attorney General. He would be amazing.
But anyway, I mean, so like, but this is what happens when you elect a Attorney General that is more of a politician and not an actual prosecutor, and doesn't have any experience really prosecuting anything, and doesn't do that. I mean,
she does things I like.
This is all inside baseball. Like, the entire DAs around the state can't stand her because like she stopped taking the conflict cases, which Jim Hood did. And it's just like open revolt how much they despise her. Like, I mean, I'm just being honest with you. That's true. Like, and you know, I'm not a prosecutor anymore, so I can say this. But the you know, I wouldn't have said that when I was still in the Prosecutors Association. But the but that's a problem. This is a real problem. And now you see why when someone like this gets elected, how it impacts real people, and not just real people, people that are sacrificing their lives for other people. And that's
right. That's
a
right. And
shame.
doing what they were taught to do,
Yeah.
and doing things to make this city, Jackson, Mississippi, where we're sitting right now, safer, and to protect families here. I mean, because this was not far from your house.
No, no, no. I mean, well, one of them was, I remember they pulled a guy with not this guy. I don't know. This one, yeah, this was close. Where Jaylen Lewis was.
Yeah, these two were so similar and so close together in time, and it's a war zone out there.
Yeah, which they've tamped out. Like, it has been safe in my neighborhood since they've been here. You know, Bo Lucky, of course, I'm biased. He's an old friend of mine. All full disclosure, he was my investigator when I worked at the Attorney General's office about 10 years ago. He's done a great job with that agency, and they are kicking ass. And
they absolutely are, regardless of what CJ LeMaster has to say.
Yeah, I know.
They're doing a damn good job.
Well, yeah, because there's this hate, like I can't, we can't think the Capitol Police did anything good. We don't want to believe that because the Republican governor put them in place. I mean, everybody.
And again, thanks Nick Bain for the expansion of the CCID. And I don't have to say it. Even I'm not a fan of Shonda, whatever her name is, Yates, but she was a big force in that, and that needed to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, and I mean, I didn't vote for Tate Reeves. I've never voted for Tate Reeves. But my point of this is,
who'd you vote for?
I voted for Brandon Presley last time.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I did. You yelled at me at the time.
Well, rightfully so.
But this is not my point. Whether I voted for him or not, he's done a good job, and he did a good job with this. He's done a very good job with this. I've been living in Jackson for a long time. Worked in the law enforcement sector of Jackson for a long time. Like, the governor's done a good job here. This is good for everybody. This is not a partisan issue. This is about people who are getting slaughtered and robbed in the streets, and nothing was being done because we had this corrupt mayor that we just got rid of that didn't give a shit about any of it. So I think the state government has done a phenomenal job with this. They put some great officers, great police chief, and we are all safer and still alive because of it. So everybody needs to get their head out of their ass, including the Attorney General. And this is just,
and the commissioner.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just, so I just think, it's just a shame, and it really bothers me. And I usually don't get this heated about things, but this is something that really upsets me, that having worked with law enforcement for so long and seeing this happen to these guys is really disgusting. So I hope, people will remember that when Lynn Finch wants to run for another office, what she's done here, because this is not right.
Well, and I hope people remember that when Sean Tindall wants to run for office too, because what he has done is not right.
In relation to this?
In relation to everything.
Gotcha. But anyway, so like y'all, I said I talked to Jerry. He couldn't make it tonight. We were going to try to get him on, but he has written a great article. He's going to continue. I think there's more coming for this. So I'm always looking forward to Lindsay Jerry's new articles. He's been a really cool guy to become friends with. And I'll just tell you a little backstory. I've said it before. You
can take the article off now, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, so when I moved here I was 14 in 1994. That's when the Beckwith prosecution was going on.
And he gave his parents hell because he didn't want to be here.
Yeah, I was upset about it because we were from Miami here, and my mom knew I wanted to be a lawyer already when I was 14, and she brought me articles about the Byron-Dale and Beckwith prosecution.
Didn't y'all go to the court?
Yeah, we did, and then and there were Jerry's articles, and so I got so into it and like following that case, and was like, this is just amazing that they're doing this kind of thing. It was just it just captivated me at that age, and then I ended up working at the Hinds County DA's office. So that was kind of like a dream I always wanted to do, and I ended up doing it. And because of partially because of Jerry's writing, so I think the thing about what Jerry did there was he resurrected a 30-year-old civil rights murder case, and everybody was better because of it, and the state was better.
Yeah. And to that note, Jerry has not stopped with the Goon Squad.
No.
Like, he's not going to stop exposing what the Goon Squad did and how bad it was. Wow. And I think that's admirable.
Yeah, exactly. So he's done great. Yeah, he's not.
He doesn't want to give you half the story.
No. He's going. He ain't quitting. I think it's kind of like, I'll tell you, be honest with you. If I were Brian Bailey, I'd be kind of nervous if Jerry was on my ass this way. Because let me set this one up for you. So Jerry, because of his reporting, resurrected a 30-year-old. This is in the early 90s, right? The case, Medgar Evers was murdered in 1963. Okay, in June of 1963. Jerry started reporting on it in the late 1980s about what's called the Old Mississippi Sovereignty Commission, which was kind of like racist Gestapo spy agency sponsored by the state. And it's a long story about it. If you've never heard about it, there's a great book called Dixie's Dirty Secret about the Mississippi Sovereignty Commission. Jerry was reporting about that, and he found out about juror tampering in the original Beckwood trial in the 1960s. That resurrected the case, and he kept on working. Eventually, the Hinds County District Attorney's Office took on that case, worked on it for several years, and indicted Beckwith, re-indicted him, and tried him in 1994 and convicted him. So Jerry was able to resurrect a 30-year-old civil rights murderer. I'm kind of nervous, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm just, you know what I mean? That kind of work. I'd be kind of nervous about it, and about his ability to do things in this nature. So I don't want Jerry mad at me. Let's put it that way. I just don't want Jerry mad at me.
I don't know why he would be.
He shouldn't be. Like, I don't know what to say, but I don't want to, like, if he was on me, I'd be worried about it. So,
You heard that. You heard that, Brian Bailey, Sean Tyndall, Lynn Fitch.
I would want that. So
I mean, we are the people, and we do elect you guys to office, and it is our job to hold you accountable, hold your feet to the fire. So think about that when you make the decisions that you make.
Yep. So anyway, well, that's all we had for tonight. We got some other things to get ready because we're going out of town tomorrow. But we appreciate everybody. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not.
Tsunami in Hawaii. So anyway, appreciate everybody tuning in. But go check out the article on Mississippi Today and